Germany, we love you, but sometimes it just seems like we don't fit here. Hey guys, MJ here, and today we're going to talk about 5 reasons it's difficult to be a large family living in Germany. For those of you who don't know, we are a family of 6 who about 10 months ago moved from Pennsylvania in the United States to Leipzig, Germany, and we are sharing our adventures here with you. Now, everything I talk about today is just going to be based on our personal experiences of living as a big family in the United States compared to living as a big family here in Germany. They are not a commentary on all of Germany, they're just a commentary on our experiences here. So the first one that we're going to talk about is grocery shopping here in Germany. And now there are quite a number of difficulties when you're grocery shopping for a larger family here in Germany. So the first one is that getting all of the food. What I found in my experience grocery shopping here in Germany is that it is harder to get enough food for a family of 6 for any length of time. I can go to a grocery store in the United States and find family-sized packages, big boxes of cereal, big things of meat, large quantities of food, and I have a big grocery store to shop from. I can get everything I need. I can load up my big cart, go to the checkout, throw it in my trunk, and drive home and be done. Here in Germany, it's a little bit different. A lot of the grocery stores are typically smaller than what we were used to back home, and I found that it's harder to find larger portion sizes of everything, including things like meat. So if I'm cooking for a family of 6 and I need enough meat to feed everybody, I'm buying 2 or 3 packages of meat instead of one big family-sized package. And the same goes for other things like cereals and breads and things like that. So it's just harder to get the larger quantities of food. The second thing is that because we live here in a relatively good-sized city, we've chosen not to have our own car, and so getting all the groceries that we buy home is a little bit difficult as well. Normally, I'm walking home or taking a tram and then walking home, and I have to carry all the groceries home with me. And so I have my backpack and a couple sacks on my shoulders, and I'm carrying all the groceries home. This gets exhausting, especially if you're trying to stock up on food for any kind of period of time, a week or something like that. For a family of 6, it's really, really difficult to do, and it certainly helps me get my exercise in. So I guess that's a positive of it, is I do get a little more exercise carrying groceries home, but it's certainly more challenging. Now, once I do get those groceries home, the size of the refrigerator is a huge frustration here for us in Germany. Now, we are thankful that the apartment we live in has an inbuilt kitchen, and we didn't have to buy one and install it ourselves, but we now have the limitation of whatever refrigerator was chosen before. And it does not seem like it was chosen for a larger size American type family. So when I do carry all those groceries home, and if I am stocking up on food, trying to find places to fit things in the refrigerator can sometimes be a challenge. I feel like sometimes I'm doing like a little puzzle every time I'm trying to stock up food in the refrigerator to find place for everything, and the freezer as well with all the drawers and things like that. So grocery shopping here in Germany, it is difficult to find the quantities of food that we need to feed a family of 6. It is difficult to carry all those groceries home, and then it's difficult to find places to store all those groceries. So a number of challenges that we found as far as eating as a big family here in Germany. Now our next one would be ordering food to go in Germany. Now if I stop by a food stand, say a currywurst stand or a döner stand or something like that, somewhere that I'm grabbing food to go, but I'm picking up food for the whole family, say we're eating at the park or I'm out and I'm grabbing food on the way home or something like that. Buying food for a family of 6 when you're standing there by yourself at a stand is an experience. So the looks you get when you start ordering and then ordering more and then ordering more, they're like, what are you doing? When are you going to stop ordering? So the shop owners and the guys working at the shop are always looking at me like I'm a little bit crazy, a little bit big appetite. And then the people in line behind me are also looking at me like, dude, stop ordering food. There's people waiting here. And then I'm sitting there waiting for, food for a family of 6 instead of just waiting for like my one döner. And so there are some looks you get and some kind of like side eyes like, what's going on? Why are you ordering so much food? It's not a big deal, but again, it's just one of those things I've noticed that like, I'm sorry guys, I'm taking up all this time and making you make all this food. It's not just for me. So it might just be something I've noticed, and it's not a big deal, but it's definitely like, all right, when I go out to order food and I'm just by myself, but I'm ordering for the whole family, it's certainly a different experience, than in other places. So our third one and our last one about food is finding seating in restaurants. When we're out and about and we're enjoying the city life and, we're staying out a little later than we thought, and we say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be able to cook dinner tonight. Let's go sit at a restaurant and get something to eat. One of the challenges is that when you go to sit at a restaurant and you're 6 people and you don't have a reservation, it can be challenging to find a table and to find a restaurant that has some space for you. We've gotten out a number of times, and again, we know that making reservations would be a better option, but if we're going out unplanned and want to grab something to eat, it's definitely difficult to find a place to sit, especially on a weekend or a busy night or during the summer when tourists are in town, things like that. So finding seating at a restaurant can certainly be a challenge if you don't have a reservation and you're a family of 6. Now, as a family of 6, if we want to meet up with some friends, now we're automatically 8 or 10. And now finding a place to eat is absolutely ridiculously hard and ridiculously impossible, especially if you want to eat somewhere that they don't take reservations, or again, you weren't able to make a reservation for whatever reason. In addition to that, what we noticed one time when we were out with friends is if you're in an outdoor seating area and there are some spaces open up, if you move the tables on your own without asking, you will get yelled at. And that was something that my German friends did. It was not me. I did not make that choice, but they started moving some tables so that the 10 of us could sit down together, and immediately one of the wait staff came over and said, "Hey, you can't move the tables, just stop doing that." And then they had a polite conversation and they worked it out. We were able to sit together, but it was funny seeing our German friend getting yelled at for moving the tables just so we can have enough room to sit together. A lot of times when you're at the outdoor seating at restaurants and things like that, there's plenty of tables for 4 people. But again, when you're a family of 6 to begin with, and if anybody else is with you, those tables of 4 just won't fit you, and you have to try to make some adjustments to them, but make sure you ask first. There's another time when it was just myself and my wife out, and we're sitting there together. Hey, we're only 2. We got a seat, no problem. We were able to sit down and enjoy ourselves, no reservation, great dinner, and then we're looking as a group of people come over and they start moving tables, and the wait staff starts yelling at them too. So it was really funny to see it happen again, and we already knew because of that one experience, like, oh no, don't move the tables without asking. So it was really fun to see somebody else getting yelled at for that, and it wasn't us that particular time, so that was great. So again, third challenge is finding a place to sit at a restaurant. If you are a big family and you're coming to Germany, great idea, make a reservation ahead of time. If not, it might be a little bit more difficult to find a place to eat for 6 or more people. Now, before I get into the last 2 challenges we have as a large family living here in Germany and why sometimes it feels like we just don't fit here, go ahead and hit that like button if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. It really makes a difference as we're growing our channel and sharing our journey as an American family living here in Germany. Now, the next challenge we found as a family of 6 living here in Germany is cars. Now, I've mentioned before that we don't have a car here and we don't want a car here in Germany. We love our public transportation system. We love the Straßenbahn and the S-Bahn and the buses, and being able to get around the whole city without owning a car or just with walking and biking and things like that. We love it and we don't want a car. But there are times when we need to go somewhere where the public transportation is a little bit more difficult, a little bit longer, things like that, and we've had to rent a vehicle. Finding a vehicle to rent for a family of 6 has been extremely difficult. There are much fewer options than there are if you're, again, a family of 4 or smaller and you just need a 2-seater, 4-seater, 5-seater, whatever it is. Once you need 6 seats and more, finding a vehicle that will fit your whole family and then affording the vehicle that will fit your whole family is a lot more difficult. We often use a company called Teilauto, which is like a car sharing service, great service, love it. And finding a car when I need to go somewhere, or Genevieve and I are taking a drive down somewhere has been easy, tons of options, really affordable, love it, grab a car, go, awesome. When all 6 of us need to go somewhere, the options go from small tiny cars to, here they call them, a bus, which is like a 9-passenger van, and rarely do they have anything in between the 4 or 5-seater and the big bus, and the price difference is huge. And again, we don't need 9 seats, just give me a minivan, like I don't need the big bus. But here it's been harder to find like a 7-passenger van, and again, these 9-passenger vans are much more expensive than the smaller cars would be. So getting around as a family when you need a car is definitely more difficult than it would be in the States. Now, granted, in the States, we did own our own car and there wasn't a public transportation system that there is here. So this is kind of unfair comparison, but it's just one of those things that we noticed about our life here in Germany is that renting cars for a family of 6 is more difficult than if you're a smaller family. Now, the next challenge on the list, and probably one of the most difficult ones that we've had to get around and work around, is finding an apartment that's big enough for all of us. Finding space for a family of 6 inside a city like Leipzig has been very, very difficult. And usually, if you can find a place that's big enough, it's really, really expensive outside of our budget. So here in Germany, you have 5-room apartments, 6-room apartments. And what that means is a 5-room apartment is 4 bedrooms plus a living space, and a 6-room apartment is 5 bedrooms plus a living space. Finding apartments that are 5 rooms or bigger is very, very challenging here in Leipzig. Now, this doesn't go for all of Germany. I'm sure there's some cities that it's easier to find a big apartment. I'm sure there's some cities that it's harder to find a big apartment. But for us here in Leipzig, it's certainly been on the difficult side to find a good enough place for us. Now, we're currently in a 5-room apartment, and it fits us, and it's comfortable, and we're thankful for it. It's a blessing for us. But finding a place that can fit all the kids in their own room and give them their own space has been challenging, because you would need a 6-room apartment or bigger. Plus, Genevieve and I both work from home, and so having a 5-room apartment means there's the bedrooms, there's the living room, and we have no space to work. So I work in the living room, Genevieve works in the bedroom, and that's what we have to do to make it work right now. We would love to have a 7-room apartment where the kids can have their own room and we can have an office and things like that. But to find that and to be able to afford that has been extremely, extremely difficult. And again, that's totally unique to our situation here, and we can make things work. And if we had to live in a 3-room place and everybody shares a bedroom or whatever, we would make it work. But we would love to find a space that's bigger, that we can afford, that has a good location, but we know we're asking for a lot there. And it is one of the things that we knew about coming over here. But back in Pennsylvania where we lived, finding bigger homes was a little bit easier and actually a little bit more affordable than the bigger homes are here. I think apartments in general in Leipzig, for the smaller ones, are probably cheaper than where we came from. But once you get into the bigger apartment range, those 5-room and bigger apartments, they tend to get a little more expensive than they were back home. And sometimes not even as big as they were back home. So that's been something we've had to adjust to. We love our apartment now and we're happy here. And hopefully in the future, we can find an even bigger apartment where we can have space to work and space for all the kids to have their own, separate areas and things like that. But for now, we have a 5-room apartment and we fit in here and it's comfortable and we love it. But yeah, living here in Germany, we found that finding a big apartment for a family of 6 has been more difficult than we would have expected. Now, with all those challenges being said, one bonus for you today is one of the positives of being a big family living here in Germany. So as a family of 6, coming on this journey together has been an amazing experience because we can share it together. We have each other to talk about the difficulties, to talk about the positive and exciting things, to express frustration, express joy when we're seeing something new, to share the experience with. The kids have their friendships with their siblings to keep them going when times are a little bit more difficult or when the language challenges are there and things like that. So having a family of 6 and being together on this journey has been a wonderful, wonderful experience, and we would not trade it for anything. So we love it here in Germany. We love the experience that we're having. We love that we get to share it together as a family. But there are some difficulties when you're a family of 6 living in Germany, and that's what today's video is about. Go ahead, drop a comment below, and let me know what you think. Are you a big family living here in Germany? Have you experienced any of these things? Let me know below. And hey, if you're planning on having a big family, would this stop you from moving to Germany? Let me know that in the comments below as well. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn more about our journey, go ahead and click on this video up here. It talks about 5 of the reasons we decided to make the move here to Leipzig, Germany. And we will see you next time.